this practical series you train, of course, a lot of techniques with two people fighting each other. Everybody has a dirk in his hands, and so it's more of a duel-like situation. But this is, historically speaking, the exception. If you look at historical accounts, written accounts, battlefield reports, clan stories and such things, then we recognize quickly that the dirk was a weapon for ambushes. You seldom have a description of a fight like, you know, Max this and that draws his dirk and Max so-and-so draws his dirk, and they stand in front of each other and have a proper fight. Most of the time you hear stories like that, you know, clan A and clan B are meeting, they have an argument about something, and, you know, out of a sudden dirks are pulled out and the next man of your enemy standing next to you is, you know, stabbed to death. So the context of the dirk is not so much of what we say, what we call a fighting weapon, a weapon for an equal fight. So of course you can also have ambushes with swords and axes and the like, and of course in the battle other rules. There are other rules than when you have a duel or a fighting and defending style. But for the dirk, this counts even more. Several clan stories tell us about the dirk being also carried concealed. Okay, so you were hiding your dirk, but also with open carry, the dirk is ready to be pulled out and plunged into the heart of an opponent. And this is something we have to keep in mind. When we talk about the techniques with dirk versus dirk, then we have to keep in mind that this is the exception. This is or let's say this is the last step. Before this happens, a lot of other things happen. And this is something I want to talk about today. In modern self-defense, we have a lot of things like awareness, avoiding conflict, you know, solving problems with dialogue, and so on and so on. And many of these things are very helpful if you want to understand also the context of a similar historical situation. Let's call it a historical self-defense situation. So there are many good books and videos by self-defense experts. I would recommend the works of Lee Morrison and Kelly McCann, and of course Geoff Thompson. They have a lot of interesting material about fight psychology, awareness, you know, reading the opponent to use preemptive striking to prevent an attack. So you can read a lot about this, and I think a lot of things about the stress, the physical things happen in the body of a human, and the psychology of conflict and combat were quite similar, if not even the same, back then in the time of the 17th, 18th century. But of course, cultural context and the surroundings and the mentality of the people was pretty much different of today. So maybe you would draw a dirk and use it with deadly intent back then, which you wouldn't do today because also of the laws, and of course because of cultural and context of the society we are living in. Which doesn't mean that back then the people were easy at hand to murder another person. So when we talk about awareness and these things, we have to see from a historical perspective the context, the cultural and historical context of the clan society back then. What this means technically is that when you have your dirk on your hip, and you are in this cultural and historical context aware that everybody else is also carrying a dirk, and when conflict happens, it might happen that someone pulls out his dirk and wants to kill you with it, or to harm you at least. So you have to keep that in mind. Which means when you are attacked, you are maybe not able to pull out your dirk and defend you on equal terms, because an ambush is always taking advantage of you being unprepared. Now, maybe a real ambush, like you're walking down a road, and somewhere out of the forest, opponents are waiting for you and ambush you. Or if it is in like a crowded space, like a marketplace, or narrow alley in a city, or if it is inside of a Scottish tower house, or if it is like when you have a clan gathering. This all is important context and tells you how much time you might have and how possible or how likely an ambush attack is. So, for example, if you meet with a rival clan and tensions are high and they want to talk about the problems and want to solve them, but maybe one word gives the other, and you are aware that there are a lot of people, angry people, standing around having long, sharp, pointy daggers on their hip, ready to use them and to shed blood. And so your awareness has to be, would have been in this historical context, your awareness would have been proper to the situation where you are in. So maybe you have time to pull out your own dirk and use it in your defense, but more likely reaction is always slower than action. So you're always in the disadvantage of having to react to an attack when someone is ambushing you with a dirk. And we just talk now about one person. So what comes into play are unarmed defensive techniques. So the first attack of your opponent you have to defend with your bare hands before you can pull out your dirk, because maybe you want to defend yourself with your free hand and pull out your dirk and you are successful, but maybe you are just too slow, or your free hand is too weak against the force of the attack and you cannot stop it. And while you're trying to get your dirk out of the sheath, you are getting the steel of your opponent into your body. So sometimes it is better to first use the defense with the bare hands, and within the next lessons, because of that, within the next lessons, we will talk about this. We will talk about how to stop an attack with dirk using your bare hands, and then finally pulling out your own dirk on equal terms, or if you have your opponent under control, and finish him with your dirk. So you have to keep this in mind. When you train dirk versus dirk, this is very fine. You can see it in medieval wrestling and dagger manuals. You can also see that wrestling and unarmed techniques against the dagger attack is always important. It's always a part of these medieval dagger manuals. And the same is true for the dirk. Before I can pull out my dirk and defend myself, I might have to use my bare hands, control the opponent, stop the attack. Maybe I will be hurt. I mean, we all know that defending yourself without a weapon, without any tool against a knife or a dagger attack is the most dangerous thing you can do in combat, and it's a desperate thing to do. But if you don't have any other chance, you have to do it. And so would the people back then would have to do it. They would have to defend themselves with their bare hands, and then they can pull out their own weapon and be on equal terms. Maybe then you have the situation that you stop the attack of your opponent. You avoid his attack. You shift your body out of the line of attack, or you can push him back or throw him, but you don't have him under control. but you get distance and then you can pull out your dirk because maybe it's your own weapon in this moment, or the space is, you know, a very narrow space where you can only use your dirk, and then you are ready, and then you are on equal terms with the attacker, having your dirk ready, fighting dirk versus dirk. But before we do more of these technique, dirks versus dirk, we will train unarmed defensive techniques. I made the concept of unarmed techniques against an attack with a dirk. The concept of this is, it's basing on the same principles, the same body movements of what you will do with a dirk versus a dirk. So you don't have to learn now, you know, like a complete unarmed martial art. First of all, we have, of course, backhold wrestling or Highland wrestling, the traditional wrestling style of Scotland, which is still alive and still practiced. And many things come into play of this backhold style, but you don't have to become a backhold wrestler to, you know, defend yourself against a dirk attack unarmed. And it's not like that you learn some kind of secret Scottish unarmed martial art, because there is none. Okay? What we do is using the principles of combat from our broadsword commands and disarms, and also the techniques we do dirk versus dirk. The principles are used to have a small but effective set of tools against the most common attacks, especially in an ambush. Okay? Because in an ambush, most likely, if your opponent comes with a dagger grip, he's trying to step from here, okay? Trying to plunge the steel into your heart. Or if he has a knife grip, the most common attack is from below into the guts, okay? This is also what you can see. This is not about modern self-defense, but just because violence with knives and crimes where knives are used are unfortunately still a part of our modern society. And these most natural common attacks, when you see CCTV footage, you can see that mostly it is an overhand step with all force. You want to get this complete steel into your victim or into your opponent in historic context, or the repeated thrusts from below into the most vulnerable part of your body, thrusting into your guts. And this is the same thing which would have happened in the case of an historical ambush in the times of the Highland clans. So you would have someone trying to step from above, okay, or thrusting in this kind of knife grip from below. And these are the first two things we will talk about in the following lessons. And the other context of this is, of course, the battlefield. The battlefield, you of course have also some other circumstances. You know there's a fight, obviously, you are on the battlefield, so you know there's a fight happen. Hopefully you are not only armed with your dirk. Hopefully you have your sword and your torch, or your musket, your lockhaver axe or whatever. But it might happen that you lose your sword, you lose your torch, or maybe you are not a high-ranking clan member and maybe you only have your dirk, and maybe you have kind of a small pike or a lockhaver axe. And long story short, you have the situation where you have to rely only on your dirk. And then of course it's interesting how to defend and to use it in this context. Of course you would be the one trying to ambush people from behind. You would not say, oh, a guy with a lockhaver axe, now I'm facing him with my dirk. You wouldn't do that. You would try to avoid that. But maybe you have the problem that there's a guy with a musket and bayonet, and you only have your dirk to defend it, to defend yourself. We will talk about this in a much later lesson. Like the dirk versus other weapons, which is of course a very difficult task. But the other way around, when you are on the battlefield, you have to be also aware that maybe someone comes and tries to, stab you with his dirk. And maybe in this moment you only have your own dirk, or maybe you are even empty-handed because you lost your weapon, you could not pull out your dirk yet. So you have to use unarmed techniques again. So all these ambush techniques with unarmed versus the dirk, but also dirk versus dirk, they also count for the battlefield if you have this kind of equal situation that someone attacks you with a dirk and not with a sword or something else. So this is it for now. We will talk about the first ambush technique and the first defense against it, and so see you in the next lesson.